I'd like to propose a toast to my two unlikely companions.
Ever since Sideways, I just thought, I can't wait to work with Paul Giamatti again, and nothing really came our way, nor did I find the right screenplay to tailor for him until this one.
Action.
I've been an admirer of school movies, Loneliness of the Long Distance Runner and If, and I had seen Merluce by Marcel Pagnol, and it never left me. I thought, that's a pretty good premise for a film. But I personally didn't have the life experience of a private school and so forth.
All right, you fetid layabouts, it's daylight in the swamp. Arise!
When I was 13, my dad was teaching at this private school in Hartford called the Watkinson School. And so I went there for 6 years. There's this old New England traditional school, coats and ties and the whole 9 yards. And that gave me some of the granular context for Barton Academy.
Sir, I don't understand.
That's glaringly apparent.
I can't fail this class.
Oh, don't sell yourself short, Mr. Coates. I truly believe that you can.
David and I clearly had Paul in mind while we were making the screenplay.
These were a gift to me, and I would like to share them with both of you. Well, I'm trying.
I had seen Divide Joy Randolph and enjoyed her immensely in Dolomite Is My Name, and I just kind of fell in love with her.
Good morning.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, of course.
I like to get actors with good comic chops to play dramatic characters, to kind of keep things aloft, without cheapening the emotions, on the contrary.
They put me in charge of the music.
Who put you in charge of the music?
I did.
You so great.
So we know it's going to be Paul Giamatti and Divide Joy Randolph. Who's going to play the boy? The casting director, Susan Shopmaker, and I looked at each other and said, well, let's call up the drama departments of the schools where we're actually going to be shooting and see who's there. And damn, that's where we found him. Dominic had never been in front of a camera before, but he took to it like a duck to water. The real movie from this film would be a documentary about what's going to happen to Dominic Sessa after this movie comes out.
Keep your head up, all right? Yeah, I was going to tell you the same thing.
I feel like the one thing that is at the center of the movie, for me at least, is heroism. The foundation of the relationship between Angus and Paul goes back to my Uncle Earl and myself when I was growing up. He's a guy who would just be present with me and give me the tough love and hard-bitten, world-weary genius that would just fall out of him.
I find the world a bitter and complicated place. I think you and I have this in common.
The characters are these people who, their lives are fraught for different reasons, and their histories are weighted with different problems and tragedies. But it's funny and genuine and real. I think reality is one of the hallmarks of an Alexander Payne movie. You know, it just feels real.
Speed, gentlemen! Speed! Without sufficient exercise, the body devours itself.
It sounds hyperbolic, and I'm sure it is, but I just think Paul Giamatti is the greatest actor. From the moment I first met him, when he auditioned for Sideways for me going on 20 years ago, I thought, this guy can make even bad dialogue work. I had him in Omaha for a public interview, and I said, you know, Paul Giamatti, I'll bet you could even read the phone book and make it compelling. And he laughed, and I leaned over, and I pulled out the Omaha phone book, and I handed it to him. I said, would you please just open up to a page? He started reading it and brought the house down.
Angus!
Working with Paul is it's a master class, you know.
Believe it or not, Mr. Tully, there was a time when the fire in my loins burned white hot. You're full of shit. No, the details would curl your toes.
It's wonderful working with Paul Giamatti. He has such character as a human being, but also with what he brings to the table.
He was a great kid. I had him one semester. Very insightful.
He hated you.
Well, like I said, sharp kid, insightful.
The questions I ask him are less of how do you act this, and more so, you know, how do you deal with it? You know, him just sort of describing how he's changed and developed from those moments, and how it's actually a useful tool to kind of look back at things and grow as an actor from looking back at things and not being satisfied with what you did in the past.
You see, history is not simply the study of the past, it is an explanation of the present.
See, when you say it that way, and throw in some pornography, it's a lot easier to understand.
Okay.
And what is so amazing, and I think speaks even more to his talent, is that he's able to snap in and out of the character. It's very seamless. But I love right before they say action, I'll peek a look, and you'll see him just like morph and fall into place, into his character.
That's a detention. You just earned yourself a detention, sir. Now get back here!
Being here with you is already one big detention.
Son of a...
And he's just a lovely guy, brilliant guy, most well-read human I know, and a delight to work with. I hope we achieved a convincing sense of 1970. What I did was I just pretended I was making a film then. The big thing is the production design. We had to find a ton of kid extras with long hair. You have two characters walking down the street, well, a bunch of cars go by them, and those cars have to be not just corrected period, but you have to throw dirt on them. Another key player in achieving the look of the film was the location department. Turns out change often comes slowly to New England. We were able to find a lot of locations. We were in Worcester, Mass, shooting a skating rink. It was fun to shoot ice skating. The extras were so carefully selected and clothed, and even had period skates. It just felt right. I hope audiences feel it's a successful and unforced, lived-in sense of period and place.
Hope you enjoyed your behind the scenes look. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and I'll see you here next time. Later.